Hello everyone, I am Buckwsr, putting the do into do-it-yourself. And our do-it-yourself project today once again is here at our 1998 Bounder by Fleetwood, our motorhome. And the good news is, we just returned yesterday. We got back from a trip to northern Michigan. And so the good news is that that was our first big trip with this RV since we bought it a year and a half ago. Did so many renovations, of which you've been accompanying me on some of the videos that I've made. So it's a little messy right now. Stuff still in the sink. But the good news is it ran great. We had no problems at all, aside from a few minor issues which didn't hold us up at all. But one of the things that I wanted to talk to you about today and try to resolve with you is something to do with our freshwater tank and the pump that's associated with that. Now, since we're parked here at my house and we're connected, as we typically are when we're parked here, to city water from my house, we've never had the occasion to use the water tank or the pump. Now, this is a brand new pump. He's right up in there, and so what would happen is would work great for a short time, and then the water pressure would slow down and it wouldn't be able to pump any usable supply of water. And I realized pretty quickly what was going on is the strainer was getting clogged. But this was happening so frequently that on the trip I had to clean out that strainer a couple of times, and inside of it was like a nasty slimy paper-like stuff that obviously it is sucked up from the fresh water tank. Now, obviously I tried to sterilize and clean and flush this tank before we used it. Tank's over here. But unfortunately, even when you have it fully drained, as I do now, you can see that you don't get all the water out. Here's the level. You might not be able to tell that on the video, but there's still an inch of water in the bottom of this tank. So never at any time is the tank fully drained or flushed out. Got the drain valve here, you got the other low point drain here, but see where it comes from? An inch. It's an inch above the bottom. So there's always water in the bottom of this thing, no matter how many times I attempt to flush it or clean it. So what I want to do, what I've decided I need to do, is actually remove the tank from the motorhome and clean it out. Now let me see if I can show you the slimy papery stuff that was clogging that strainer. And I can do that over here. It's a little awkward, but I will try to do that and see if, I don't think it's clogged right now. Yeah, it actually is. So once again, it wouldn't have been long before this thing stopped functioning. I'm gonna put the cap back on just so it doesn't keep leaking. Go on. I'm gonna show you this. Look inside there. See that nastiness? It's like a slimy, papery stuff. Let me see if I can show you better. So out here in the sunlight, you can probably see it a little better. This slimy, see it? Pushing it out on my finger. What is this? Well, obviously it's something that's in the bottom of the tank. Crud, slime, nastiness. You know, it's a 22-year-old motorhome. It's sat for a while. But you don't get enough use out of the water pump to even take a shower because it clogs up too quickly. So I am resolved that I got to try and pull that tank out of there, flush it, and clean it more adequately. Here's a look at the waste system that I set up so as to be able to drain my waste tanks at home. I've got a couple of videos on that particular project, and that's been working out pretty good. So I don't think there's anything wrong with my pump. I think there's something wrong with the tank. So I'll have you join me as we try to pull that out and clean it out and resolve this problem. Okay, here's the tank, and let's size up what we need to do here. A couple of things to do to remove this tank. I'm going to have to disconnect this wiring harness. These wires are part of the level meter, so you can read how full your tank is remotely. I'll probably have to disconnect here, this hose here. This is our low point drain, and I probably have to disconnect this stuff and move it out of the way. After that, up here we have the fill from the back of the fill that comes from the back of the motorhome. I'm going to have to disconnect that fill line, and then right behind it you can also see the vent. So they got clamps on them, but it almost looks like they're also glued onto there. There's like you can see like a glue residue. So let me get started on some of these initial steps, and we'll be able to get this tank out of here. I think after that, it's held in place here by these blocks, which I will have to just simply unscrew, I guess. So I'm going to work on that and then see if I can bring you back for the actual tank removal. Well, it was not too terribly difficult to get everything disconnected, the wiring harness, the water line, fill pipe and vent pipe. But I'm wondering how easy it's going to be to get this out of here. Now, as you know, we already have an inch of water in the tank, which adds some weight. But what you can see is the tank sits up higher than our opening. Now it's sitting on what appears to be a styrofoam board, and I wonder if they installed this by putting the tank in first and then sliding the styrofoam pad under the empty tank. So I'm not sure at this point what it's going to take to get this guy out. It slides on top of the tank, on top of the pad. You can pull it this far, and then you see it hits up here. So you got like an inch there. And I wonder if there's some way to pull the styrofoam pad out first. Yeah, it moves. That's a good sign. Oh yeah. I'll have to move this out of the way a little bit more. Aha! There we go. That looks promising. Now, I'm going to take a pause and take that phone call. Okay, so we got some water coming out now that I removed that styrofoam base. I think if I take this block out, I'll have a little more room to slide the tank to the right and hopefully be able to get it out. All right, now let's see if we can coax this guy out. Still not looking too easy, is it? It's still hitting back here. certainly be easier if we had less water in it. That's for darn sure. So let me prop up this corner. We'll let it drain for a little bit and try again. All right, real quick, I'll show you where I'm at. I'm still struggling. Tank is still higher than my opening here. It makes you think that they built the entire motorhome around the water tank, which can't be. Okay, my friends, I've adopted a rather unconventional approach here. I was first going to try to take off this piece, but it runs the length of the two compartments. It's angle iron, not real thick, but the screws are very hard to remove. I can't get them out. So you may criticize me for this, but I've got a pair of tin snips and I'm just cutting like a ½ inch off of this rail to give me clearance to get the tank out. Then once I put that weather stripping back up, it should be okay. So I'm gonna just risk that. And hopefully I won't regret it. Tough going though, because I'm here at the top of the bay and I can't quite wrap my hands around the tool very well. But it's going okay, so I'm going to cut down to about here, and then hopefully I'll be able to pull this baby out. Okay, let's see if I've got clearance now to get this thing out. It's coming. It's coming. It's actually a pretty big tank, so let me pull you a little bit out of the way. And wow, it's a big tank. Oh boy. Bump up there. Let's see if we can get out. Oh yeah. Look at the size of it. Wow. Can you see that? What a monster. It's like 5 feet long. Wow. So, I have a light, and I can see back in there. That's pretty amazing. Oops. Goes back pretty deep, you know. Well, all right. I think, all things considered, I'm glad I went to the trouble of doing this. Don't think I really had any option. Now, once again, I'm getting to my projects as the daylight is fading. So I think I'm going to call it quits for now. And next time we're together, we will we'll see about cleaning this thing out in a more appropriate fashion. All right, till then. Okay, welcome back. Well, I'll tell you what my strategy is, and here's the big tank, and just reminding you of the issue that water tends, because it's a two levels, an inch of water tends to get stuck and remain there in the bottom of that tank, and it's impossible to clean it out. And that's why we had that crud build up in there that's messing up our pump and our water flow from the fresh water tank. So I'm going to use one of these access plates. I'm going to cut a 6-inch hole or so into the top of the tank. And that's going to serve the purpose of allowing me to get in there now and see inside there to adequately clean it. And it may also serve the purpose in the future if I want to, you know, winterize and make sure I can get in there and remove all of the remaining water. I'll have that option. Now obviously once the tank is installed in the bay, I don't have access to this access hole or this access plate. But nonetheless, if I want to go to the trouble, the opportunity will remain to me to disconnect the pipes and the wires here so as to pull the tank out at least a foot or so and access this. At least for now, it's going to let me get inside the tank to give it a thorough cleaning. So my next step will be to cut the hole and then to clean the inside of the tank thoroughly, and then we'll secure that new access plate after we've cleaned it out and flushed it out and get ready to reinstall it. So we'll move forward with that. So this plate actually cost me $12 delivered to my door on Amazon, so that's pretty reasonable, I thought. And I picked up some stainless steel screws that won't oxidize or rust, that will hold it down. We'll also use some sealant under there. Now to cut my hole, I want to draw a line corresponding to this outside ring. Problem is I can't quite get a marker under there to draw that hole. Nonetheless, the lid here, as you can probably see, is the same diameter as the outside hole. So I'm going to use the lid to mark out a hole right here, and then we'll be able to cut it out that way. I think I can do this with a pencil. Could use a permanent marker, but that might make some permanent marks on the white plastic. And even though no one will ever see this, I'll know. All right, so there's our hole. Now we're going to cut that out, and that should fit perfectly right onto there. Well, I'm not sure the best method to cut this out. I was going to use a jigsaw, but I can't find it. I think I may have left it at another location. So I'm wondering if this razor knife will do it carefully. I suspect it will. I got a hacksaw blade that I could try. I think this will work. It's just going to take a little time, making multiple passes, and being careful. I just about got this, although it's been a bit tedious. Here it is. Okay. So you and I are getting our first look down in there. And you can see that residue or whatever it is on the bottom of the tank. At least I can. Hopefully you can too. So this is going to give me the chance to really clean this out well. And then we'll install this guy. So cleaning comes next, and what I intend to do really is to fill it and just invert it and let it all drain out here. I could also use my shop vac to suck out some of that debris if it doesn't come out easily through the drain hole. But I may also fire up my pressure washer and kind of stick it down in there and give it a thorough cleaning. Alright, I'm going to use my wet vac to suck out all that nastiness that's in there. You know, sometimes I wonder if the tank got sabotaged, somebody adding something they shouldn't have deliberately. But you know, the more I think about it, I think that's just some kind of built-up mineral deposits or something from water being stuck in that lower section for 23 years. Give you a peek at this. Now obviously a lot of the dirty part was from already inside my, see all that, see all this, what is this stuff? And I still see more of it sort of on the bottom of the tank. So I'm going to use a pressure washer and some detergent. We're going to try to clean it out better. Alright, so I added some detergent. I'm using some of this Purple Power cleaner degreaser. And I feel like I still see buildups on the bottom of that lower level. So I'm just going to let it sit for a little bit here. And then we'll come back, rinse it, and try to clean it out even more. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't drink I don't drink RV water to begin with. I only drink bottled water when we're traveling. But either way, you can find a shower in it or wash dishes. And so my next step is I'm going to add some water and some bleach. I'm going to let it sit for a while, and we'll sterilize it with the bleach, rinse it out a few more times, and then put the top back on and reinstall the tank. So we'll add some bleach, add enough water so that it covers not just the lower section but some up here, and then we'll let it sit for a while and then do some rinsing. Okay, time to drain and rinse. I gotta go to the bathroom. Okay, the tank is cleaned out, sterilized, drained, rinsed, drained again, rinsed again, drained again, and now we are ready to install this access plate. Now I'm going to fasten it with some sheet metal screws, stainless steel screws. I have pre-drilled the holes, the 6 holes I pre-drilled, and so that's going to line up perfectly. And I'm going to also use some sealant. I don't know what kind of sealant to use exactly, silicone, something, any. I'm not that worried about it being, I mean, I'm pretty sure it's going to be just fine because this lid is on the top, because we don't fill the water tank all the way up. I never fill it completely just because of weight concerns when traveling, and we just never need it to be full. So yeah, I guess it could get wet from water sloshing or splashing, but I'm not that concerned about it being amazingly watertight. I don't mean to say I'm not concerned. I just mean it's not that big a deal to me because of the location of the access hole. Put some kind of caulk or silicone around the edges here is a good idea. And then get a screwdriver, take these down, just getting them started here. But I'm not going to torque them down with the drill. I'm going to get a Phillips head screwdriver. I don't want to over torque them and strip them out. So some of our sealant is squishing out on the sides. I'm actually fine with that. And I may use our sealant and just go around the outside perimeter here anyway. There we go. That's it. That's all I'm going to do for now. We will allow that to dry and replace the cap, and then we'll be putting our water tank back in the RV. Okay, so our tank is cleaned, sterilized, rinsed, drained, dry. We installed our access plate, and now it remains to simply reinstall it into the compartment to which it belongs. We've cleaned out that compartment, and hopefully we'll be able to get it in there without too much trouble. Looking like this. Yeah, this thing's amazingly long, isn't it? Okay, straighten it out, push it toward me, and then slide it in. Great. And then the back half goes up on that little shelf. Thank you so much. That's all I needed. All right. Now take a few minutes to remake the connections with the pipes and the wires and fill tube, all that good stuff, and then this project will be just about completed. Well, that about wraps it up. Tank's back in, all the connections are made, weather stripping's back around the opening, and we're good to go with a clean tank. I guess my biggest frustration in all of this is the amount of work I had to go to clean out that tank because of that inch of water in that first section that's impossible to drain out. And that was probably the reason for the problem to begin with. No one in the last 22, 23 years has ever been able to clean it out like that. Well, adding that access hole at the top, though now inaccessible, at least gives me the option, if I want to do it at the end of the season, take off the connections again, slide the tank out a couple of feet, and open it up and really drain it out, suck out the water so that we don't have that water sitting in there perpetually. Not going to fill the tank now to test it out. We got a trip planned in I don't know, coming up in a month and a half or so, and probably use it then. And I expect to not have any additional problems with the freshwater tank or the freshwater pump. I thank you for watching, and your comments, questions, criticisms, complaints, or advice are always welcome. What's my next project on the RV? I don't know, but there's always something, right? I will look forward to seeing you on the next video. Bye-bye.